be in a place where we're talking about our prized people, our students. And definitely, as VP Fanner mentioned, we're part of a larger team, but we operate here on campus and provide mental health services to all of our students. And all through this COVID time, we have remained open. So during the day, for example, prior to COVID, we've had at times faculty who would walk a student over. And yes, it's true that we have taken all sorts of COVID precautions. We use the campus clear when people come in. We limit the number of students in our small waiting area. And we literally do quite a bit of remote counseling as well to reduce the number of students in our small department. But most of the time during the day, there is someone who's here who might potentially provide you with answers if there's a need, but you can also feel free to call us. Well, I want to take the 5 minutes I'm allotted just to share a couple of things with you that I think will be helpful. One of those has to do with a term that all of us have heard over and over and over the past 10 months, and that's the word unprecedented. And that's been used quite a bit. And that entails something, that is that most of us are going through something that we haven't experienced before. None of us here was alive back in 1918 when we had the Spanish flu, and definitely our college students can even relate to that because their parents weren't part of that group of people either. So this is brand new. And since COVID, we've had a number of things happen. For example, the physical distancing. And there's a psychological thing that occurs when we say social distancing, because especially that age group, there is a tug of war within them during this developmental part of their lives where they're wanting to move away from their parents, and that's normal. They wanted to develop a sense of autonomy and independence, but at the same time, they're needing to connect. And that connection has to happen. And that's the reason for which we advocate having a campus where students can come together, whether in the residence halls or in the classrooms, and connect with faculty and staff and residence hall directors and things of that, and other people in their circle. So this distancing literally leaves them with a sense of void, a sense of loneliness. And for many of them, it is something that they have very difficult time adjusting to. Change is another thing. A lot of changes have happened, changes in how we shop, we eat, we worship, and so on. And it's very difficult for a number of them. Plus, there's a sense of uncertainty that has occurred over the past few months that a lot of teen or young adults have a hard time adjusting to, because their developmental stage is already providing them with that sense. And when you add all these things to it, it becomes almost unbearable. So in your classrooms, you're going to find a number of students who are having challenges. And it's good that we're having this discussion this afternoon. And so these challenges are real. We've done lots of assessments nationally over the past few months, and the rates of depression, anxiety, suicide have increased significantly. And so how do you help these young people? Dr. Fainer has already talked about a few things, but and those things are important, they're critical. I'd like to add a few more. And in this particular instance, I would want to, first of all, emphasize the importance of connecting with your student in your classroom. And it may not necessarily be physically, but it needs to be somewhere, somehow, that the student knows, hey, this professor, this faculty is here for me and knows me personally and can help me if there's a need to. It's also important to be able to listen, for them to know that your relationship with them is one that is void of judgment. Okay, there's something that we use in our own language as therapists. We call this unconditional positive regard. And this means that no matter what's happening, no matter whether I skipped your class or I missed your class for 2-3 days or a week or 2 weeks, you're not judging me when you're talking to me. And it is showing up in our conversation. When you are relating to me as a student, I feel that you care. I feel that you're wanting to help. I feel that you're there with me. And yes, I may be failing your class, but you still care for me. So if you're able to communicate this with your student, you're doing quite a bit. Also, there's a sense of helplessness that usually occurs during these days where students feel as though they're out of control, they don't know what to do. And so if they're presenting with a problem, it certainly helps for you to listen with care. And in addition to that, not literally rush to provide them with answers, help them to discover their own answers. It literally affirms what they already have within them. Because you know what? Most of our young people are resilient. They have some degree of resilience, just as some of them don't have as much as they could potentially have. So as you affirm them, as you, for example, they're asking a question, you may say, well, what do you think? How would you like? What do you think might work in this case? And so listening, coaching, providing them with an opportunity to answer will be very good. It also will provide them with that sense of affirmation that they need. In terms of where do you go for help? Definitely the Counseling and Testing Center. We do have a website, and most of you are familiar with that. If you're not, just go to the regular Andrews page. You will certainly find it under Student Life. We do have periodic types of documentations and support systems or other types of resources that they can access there. We also have different types of personality assessments or assessments for depression and anxiety and so on that students can take anonymously or confidentially and make a referral or connect with a counseling center. In addition to that, I think it's helpful for you to know that if your student may be in the residence halls, this year especially, we've added mental health professionals or mental health interns, or these are graduate individuals who are completing a degree in social work or in counseling, and they do serve that population. So we have someone in each of the residence halls, and we also have someone who is dedicated to the graduate apartments and the community students. So these are go-to people who could potentially sit with them, talk to them about, for example, food needs or financial needs, or we have a large group of international students, these types of needs as well. And so again, the Counseling Center, and as it was mentioned a few minutes ago, we have clinicians that are available 24 hours. So if there's a need, you may call. If you don't know how to reach us and it's after hours, you may call Campus Safety. They have our direct line and they will connect with us. During the daytime, we're here on campus in Bell Hall. You may call, you may even walk your student over if needs be. Although we do our very best to keep the social distance, in addition to that, for the safety of everyone, a lot of our counseling occurs, especially during these past months and through the rest of the school year, by remote or virtually, I should say. So we are able to provide you with the support and provide your students with the support that they might need. Correct. So do give us a call, do send us an email. Someone will respond to you within a reasonable amount of time. And also let me remind you that since the beginning of the month of, I believe it was back in October, the University Student Intervention Team coordinated a training for all faculty and staff, and we purchased, it's called the QPR, Question, Persuade, and Refer. And up to today, there are several hundred faculty and staff who have already completed that training. It's available to all of you free of charge. It provides you with additional strategies on how to connect with students and what to do in case you have a student who's displaying or demonstrating or showing some signs of mental distress. And that is available on the university website page. If you go to Student Life and you follow Use It, and if there's anyone who certainly is not able to find it, let us know. We'll send you the direct link so that you can click. It only takes about 40 or 50 minutes.